Welcome to the stream today. Tonight, we are basically ini mau baca Homer. Buat nemenin tidur pada dasarnya gitu. Karena gue suka kalau tidur dengerin sesuatu. Jadi sekarang you gonna listen to me reading the Iliad, a book by Homer, a story by Homer. Let's begin. Yeah, you're gonna hear like a page of a book turning, things like that. Homer, the Iliad, Book 1, Argument, the contention of Achilles and Agamemnon. In the War of Troy, the Greeks, having sacked some of the neighboring towns, and taken from thence two beautiful captives, Chrysis and Briseis, allotted the first to Agamemnon and the last to Achilles. Chrysis, the father of Chryseis, the priest of Apollo, comes to the Grecian camp to ransom her, with which the action of the poems open. In the 10th year of the siege, the priest, being refused and insolently dismissed by Agamemnon, entreats for vengeance from his god, who inflicts a pestilence on the Greeks. Achilles calls a council and encourages Chalcas to declare the cause of it, who attributes it to the refusal of Chryses. The king, being obliged to send back his captive, enters into a furious contest with Achilles, with Nestor pacifies. However, as he had the absolute command of the army, he seizes on Briseis in revenge. Achilles, in discontent, withdraws himself and his forces from the rest of the Greeks, and complaining to Thetis, the supplicates Jupiter to render them sensible of the wrong done to her son by giving victory to the Trojans. Jupiter, granting her suits, incenses Juno, between whom the debates runs high till they are reconciled by the address of Vulcan. The time of the 22 days is taken up in this book, 9 during the plague, 1 in the council and the quarrel of princes, and the 12th of Jupiter stays with the Ethiopians, at whose return Thetis prefers her petition. The scene lies in the Grecian camps, then changes to Chrysa, and lastly to Olympus. Achilles' wrath, to Greece, the direful spring of woes unnumbered, heavenly goddess sing, that wrath which hurled to Pluto's gloomy reign the souls of a mighty chief untimely slain, whose limbs unburied on the naked shore, devouring dogs and hungry vultures store. Since great Achilles and Atreides strove, such was sovereign doom, and such the will of Jove. Declare, O Muse, in what ill-fated hour sprung the fierce strife, from what offended power Latana's son a dire contagion spread, and heaped the camp with mountains of the dead. The kings of men his reverend priests divide, and for the king's offense the people died. For Croesus sought with costly gift to gain his captive daughter from the victor's chain. Suppliant the venerable father's then, Apollo's awful ensign grace his hand. By this he begs, and lowly bending down, extend the scepter and the laurel crown. He sued to all, but chief implored grace, the brother king of Atreus' royal race. Ye king and warriors, may your vows be crowned, and Troy's proud wall lies level with the ground. May Jove restore you when your toils are over, safe to the pleasures of your native shore. But oh, relieve a wretched parent's pain, and give Chryseis to these arms again. If mercy fails, yet let my presence move, and dread avenging Phoebe's sons of Jove. The Greeks in shouts the joints assent declare, the priests to reverence and the release the fair. Not so Atreides, he kingly pride, repulsed with sacred sire, and thus replied, Hands saw thee life, and life in these hostile plains, nor ask, presumptuous, what the kings detain. Hence, with the laurel crown and golden road, nor trust too far those ensigns of thy God. Mine is thy daughter priest, and shall remains, and the prayers, and the tears, and the bribe shall plead in vain. Till time shall rifle every youthful grace, and age dismiss her for a cold embrace. In daily labours of loom employed, or doomed to deck the bed she once enjoyed. Hence then to Argos shall the maid retire, far from her native soil and weeping sire. The trembling priest along the shore returned, and in the anguish of a father mourned. Disconsolate, not daring to complain, silent he wandered by the sounding main, till safe at distance to his God he prays, the God who darts around the world his race. Osmintheus, sprung from lair of Latonus lines, the guardian power of Iliad divine, the source of life, whom Tenedos adores, and whose bright presence gilds thy Chryseis shore. If ever with wreath I hung thy sacred fane, or fed the flame with fat oxen slain, God of the silver bow, thy shaft employ, avenge thy servant and Greek destroyed. thus Chryses prayed. The wavering powers attend, and from Olympus's lofty tops descend. Bent was his bow, the Grecian hearts to wound. Fierce as he moved, his silver shaft resound. Breathing revenge, a sudden night he spread, and gloomy darkness rolled about his head. The fleet in view, he twanged his deadly bow, and hissing fire the feathers fated below. On mules and ducks the infection first began, and last the vengeful arrows fixed in men for 9 long nights. Through all the dusky air, the pyres, thick flaming, shot dismal glare. But ere then the revolving day was run, inspired by Juno, Thetis' godlike son, convent to counsel at the Grecians their train, for much the goddess mourned her hero slain. The assembly seated, rising over the rest, Achilles turned, kings of men addressed. Why leave we not the fatal Trojan shore, and measure back the seas we crossed before? The plague, destroying whom the sword would spare. 'Tis time to save the few remains of war. But let some prophet or some sacred sage explore the course of great Apollo's rage, or learn the wasteful vengeance to remove by mystic dreams, for dreams discerns above Jove. If broken foes with heavy curse have laid, let altar smokes and hecatombs be paid, so heaven atoned shall dying Greek restore. Amphibious dart his burning shaft no more. He said, and sat, while Calchas thus replied. Calchas the wise, the Grecian priest and guide, that sacred sphere, whose comprehensive view the past, the present, and the future knew. Apprising slow, a venerable sage, thus spoke the prudence and the fears of age. Beloved of Jove, Achilles, wouldst thou know why angry Phoebus spanned his fatal bow? First give thy faith and plight the princess' word of sure protection by the power then sword. For I must speak what wisdom could conceal, and truth, invidious to the great reveal. Bold is the task, when subjects crowned to wise. Instruct a monarch where his errors lie. For though we deem to short-lived fury pass, this sure the mighty will revenge at last. To whom, Peleus, from thy inmost soul, speak without nose and speak without control. Even by that God I swear who ruled the day, to whom thy hands the foe of Greece convey, and those blessed oracle thy lips declare, long as Achilles breathed his vital air. No daring Greek of all the numerous band against his priest shall lift an impious hand. Not even the chief by whom our hosts are led, the King of Kings, shall touch the sacred head. Encouraged thus, the blameless man's replies, no vows unpaid, nor a slighted sacrifice. But he, our chief, provoke the raging pest. Apollo's vengeance for his injured priest. Nor will gods awaken his fury cease, but plagues shall spread, and funeral fires increase, till the great kings, without ransom paid, to our own Kursi send the black-eyed maid, perhaps with added sacrifice and prayer, the priest may pardon and the god may spare. The prophet spoke, when with a gloomy frown, the monarch stepped from his shining throne. Black choler filled his breast that boiled with ire, and from his eyeballs flashed the living fire. Augur Kursi, denouncing mischief so, prophet of plagues for even boding ill, still must that tongue wounding message bring, and still thy priestly pride provoke thy king. For this amphibious oracle explore. Is heaven offended and priests profane? Because my prize, my beauteous maid I hold, and heavenly charms prefer proffered gold. A maid unmatched in manner as in face, skilled in each art and crowned with every grace. Not half so dear were Clytemnestra's charm. When first her blooming beauties blessed my arms. Yet if the god demands her, let her sell. Our cares are only for the public well. Let me be deemed the hateful cause of all, and suffer rather than people fall. The price, my beauteous price, I will resign, so dearly valued and so justly mine. But since the common good I yield the fair, my private loss let grateful Greeks repair. Nor unrewarded let your prince complain, that he alone was fought and bled in vain. Insatiate the king, Achilles thus replied, fond of the power but fonder of the prize. Wouldst thou the Greeks their lawful prey should yield, the due reward of many well fulfilled, the spoil of city razed and warriors slain, we share with justice as toil we gain. But to resume whatever thy avarice craves, the trick of tyrants may be borne by slave. Yet if our chief for plunder flight, the spoils of Iliad shall thy loss requite. Whenever by Jove's decree or conquering powers shall humble to the dust of lofty towers, then thus the king, shall I my prize resign, with time content and thou possessors of thine, great as thou art, and like a god invite. Think not to rob me of a soldier's right, at thy demand shall I restore the maid. First let me just equivalent be paid. Such a king might ask, let it be, a treasure worthy of her, and worthy of me. O grant me this, or where monarchs climb, this hand shall seize some other captive dame. The mighty Ajax shall prize, resign, Ulysses' spoils, or even thy own, be mine. The man who suffers loudly may complain, and the rage he may, but he shall rage in vain. But this when time requires, it now remains. We launch a bark to plow the watery plains, and waft the sacrifice to Chrysa's shore. With chosen pilots, and with laboring oars, soon shall the fair, be sable ship ascend, and some deputed prince the charge attend. This Cretus king or Ajax shall fulfill, or wise Ulysses what sea performed thou will. Or if our royal pleasure shall ordain, Achilles self-conductor over the main, let fierce Achilles, dreadful in his rage, the god propitiate, and the pest assuage. At this, Polides, frowning stern, replied, O tyrant, armed with insolence and pride, inglorious slave to interest ever join, with fraud unworthy of a royal mind. What generous Greek, obedient to thy word, shall form an ambush or shall lift the sword? What cause have I to war at thy decree? These distant Trojans never injured me. To Petea's realm no hostile troops they led. Safe in her veils my warlike coursers fed. Far hence remove the hoarse resounding main, and walls of rocks accumulate my native reign, whose fruitful soil luxuriant harvest grace, rich in her fruits and her material race. Hither we sailed a voluntary throng, to avenge a private, not a public wrong. What else to Troy the assembled nation draws, but thine, ungrateful, and thy brother's cause? And is this the pay our blood and toils deserve, disgraced and injured by the men we serve? And that as thou threat to snatch my prize away, due to deeds of many a dreadful way. A prize as small, O tyrant, match with thine, as thy own action if compared to mine. Thine in each conquest is the wealthy prey, though mine the sweat and the danger of the day. Some trivial present to my ships I bear. O barren praises, pay the wounds of war. But now, proud monarch, am thee slave no more. My fleet shall waft me to Thessalia's shore, left by Achilles on a Trojan's plain. What spoils, what conquests shall Atrides gain? To this the king, fly, mighty warriors, fly. Thy aid we need not, and thy threats defy. Thou want not chief in such cause to fight, and Jove himself shall guard our monarch's right. Of all the king, the gods distinguished care, to power superior none such hatred bear. Strive and debate thy restless souls employ, and wars and horrors are thy savage joy. If thou hast strength, 'twas heaven that strength bestowed. For now, vain man, thy father is from God. Haste, launch thy vessels, fly with speed away. Rule thy world realms with arbitrary sway. I heed thee not, but the price at equal rate. Thy short-lived friend, and thy groundless hate. Go, treat thy earthborn myrmidons but here. 'Tis mine to threaten, prince, and thine to fear. Now, if the god, the beauteous dame of the main, my bark shall waft her into her native lane. But then prepare, imperious prince, prepare. Fierce as thou art, to yield thy captive fair. Even in thy tent I'll seize the blooming prize. Even in thy tent I'll seize the blooming prize. Thy love breezes with the radiant eyes. Hence shalt thou prove my might and curse the hour. Thou stoodst a rival of the imperial power, and hence to all our host it shall be known that kings are subject to the gods alone. Achilles heard, with grief and rage oppressed. His heart swelled high and labored in his breast, distracting thoughts by turns his bosom ruled. Now fired by wrath, and now by reason cooled, that prompts his hand to draw the deadly sword, force through the Greeks and pierce their naughty lord. This whisper, soft his vengeance to control, and calm the rising tempest of his soul, just as in anguish of suspense he stayed, while half unseated appeared at the glittering blade. Minerva swift descends up from above, sent by the sister and the wives of Jove. For both the princes claimed her equal care. Behind this she stood and by the golden air. Achilles seized to him, alone confessed, a sable cloud concealed her from the rest. He sees, and sudden to the goddess cries, known by thy flames that sparkle from her eyes. Descend, Minerva, in her guardian care, a heavenly witness of the wrongs I bear. From Atreus' son, then let those eyes that view the daring crime behold the vengeance due. Forbear, the progeny of Jove replies, to calm thy fury I forsake the sky. The great Achilles, to the god resigned, the reason yield the empire over mine. By awful Juno his command is given, the king and you are both the care of heaven. The force of keen reproach let him feel, but cease obedient thy revenging steel. For I pronounce, and thus a heavenly power, thy injured honor has its fated hour, and bribe thy friendship with boundless store. Then let revenge no longer bear this way, commands thy passion, and the gods obey. To her Politis, with grateful ear, regardful ear, this just, O goddess, I thy dictates hear. Hard as it is, my vengeance I suppress. Those who revere to the gods will bless, he said, observant of the blue eyes made. Then in the sea to return the shining blade. The goddess, swift to the high Olympus flies, and joins the sacred senates of the skies. Nor yet the rage his boiling breast forsook, which thus redoubling on her strides abroke. O monster, mixed of insolence and fear! Thou dost in forehead, but in heart a deer. When wert thou known in ambush fight to dare, or nobly face the horrid fronts of war? This ours, the chance of fighting fields to try, thine to look on and bid the valiant die. Too much 'tis safer through the camp to go, than rob the subject, than despoil the foe. Scourge of thy people, violent and base, sent in Jove's anger on a slavish race, who, lost to sense of generous freedom past, attained to wrongs or his had been thy last. Now by this sacred sceptre hear me swear, which never more shall leave a bosom bare, which severed from the trunks, as I from thee, on the bare mountains left his parent tree. This sceptre, for by tempered steel to prove, an ensign of the delegates of Jove, from whom the power of love and justice springs. Tremendous odds in Iliad's the king. By this I swear, when bleeding Greece again shall call Achilles, she shall call in vain. When flushed with slaughter Hector come to spread the purple shore with mountains of the dead. Yikes! Then shalt thou mourn the affront thy madness gave, forced to deplore when impotent to save, then rage in bitterness of soul to know this axe has made the bravest Greeks thy foe. He spoke, and furious hurled against the ground. His sceptre start golden sturds around, then sternly silent sat, with like disdain. The raging kings return his frowns again, to calm their passion with the words of age. Slow from his earth seals arose the Pelian sage, experienced Nestor, in persuasion skilled. Words, sweet as honey from his lips distilled, 2 generations now has passed away, wise by his rules and happy by his way. To age over his native realm he reigned, and now the example of a third remain, all viewed with awe the venerable man, who thus with mild benevolence began. What a shame! What woe is to Greece! What joy to Troy's proud monarch and the friends of Troy, that a first God commit to stern debate, the best, the bravest of a Grecian state. Young as ye are, this youthful ith restrain, nor you think Nestor's years and wisdom vain. A godlike race of heroes once I knew, such as more this age shall this age eyes shall view. Lives here a chief to match Pirithous' fame, Darius the bold, Orsinius' deathless name, Theseus, endued with more than mortal might, or Polyphemus like the Goth in fight. With this of old, to toils the battle bred. In early youth, my hardy days I led. Fired with thirst which virtuous envy bred, and smith with love of honorable deeds, strongest of men, they pierced the mountain board, ranged the wild deserts, rats with monsters gore, and from their hills the shaggy centaurs tore. Yet this with soft persuasive arts I swayed when Nestor spoke. They listened and obeyed. If in my youth, even this esteemed me wise, do you, young warriors, hear my age advice? Atrides, seize not on the beauteous slave, that prize the Greeks by common suffrage gave. Nor thou, Achilles, treat our prince with pride, let the king be a judge, and sovereign powers preside. Thee, the first honors of the war adorn, like gods in strength, and a goddess born. Him awful majesty exalts above the powers of earth and sceptre, sons of Jove. Let both unite with well consenting mind, so shall authority with strength be joined. Leave me, O king, to calm Achilles' rage. Rule thou thyself as more advanced in rage. Forbid it, gods, Achilles should be lost, the pride of Greece and bulwark of host. This said, he ceased. The king of men replies, thy years are awful, and thy words are wise. But what imperious and unconquered soul no laws can limit, nor respect control. Before his pride must his superiors fall, his word the law, and he the lord of all? Him as our host, our chief, ourselves obey. What king can bear a rival in his way? Grant that the god his matchless force have given, has vowel or reproach a privilege from heaven? Here on a monarch's speech Achilles broke, and furious, thus uninterrupting spoke, Tyrant, I will deserve my galling chain, to live thy slave, and still to live and to serve in vain. Should I submit to each unjust decree? Command thy vassal, but command not to me. Seize on Briseis, whom the Grecian doomed, my prize of war, yet tamely see resumed, and see secure no more, Achilles draw. His conquering sword and any woman's cause, the god commands me to forgive the past, but lest this first invasion be the last. For know thy blood, when next thou darest in fate, shall stream in vengeance on my reeking blade. At these they ceased. The stern debate expires. The chief in solemn majesty retired. Achilles, with Patroclus, took his way, where near his tent his hollow vessels lay. Meantime, Atrides launched with numerous oar a well-rigged ship for Chrysa's sacred shore. Sacred shore. High on the decks was fair Chryseis placed, and sage Ulysses with the conduct graced. Safe in her sight, the Hercum they stowed. Then swiftly sailing, cut the liquid road. The host to expiate next the king prepares, with pure lustration and with solemn prayers. Wash by the brainy wave the pious train, are cleansed and cast absolution in the main. Along the shore whole catacombs were laid, and poles and coats to Phoebeus' altars paid. The sable fumes and curling spires rise, the waft their grateful odors of the skies. The army thus in sacred rites engage, at rites with deep resentment rage. To wait his will, to sacred heralds stood. Thalthaebius and Eurybates the good haste to the fierce Achilles' tent. He cries. Thence bears Briseis as our royal prize. Submit he must, or if they will not part, ourselves in arms shall tear her from his heart. The unwilling heralds act their old commands. Pensive they walk along the barren sands. Arrive, the hero in his stance they find, with gloomy aspects on his arms recline. At awful distance long they silent stand, loth to advance and speak their hard command. Descend confusion, this the godlike man perceive, and thus with accent mild began. With leave and honor enter our abodes, ye sacred minister of the men of the gods. I know your message by constraint you came, not you, but your imperious lords I blame. Patroclus haste the fair Briseis bring, conduct my captive to the haughty king. But witness heralds, and proclaim my vow, witness to the gods above and man below. But first and loudest, to your prince declare that lawless tyrants, whose comments you bear, unmoved as death Achilles shall remain, though prostrate Greece shall bleed at every vein. The raging chief in frantic passions lost, blind to himself and useless to his host, unskilled to judge the future by the past, in blood and slaughter shall repent at last. You are currently listening to Kursi Goyang. Tonight we are reading Homer's Iliad, probably book 1 for now. We're almost there. We're currently on page 19. I'll take a break, maybe 2 to 3 minutes. If you are finding this stream entertaining to you in one or any way, please consider to subscribe and hit the like button. Thank you. We are back. We are currently on page 19. Welcome to the stream. Tonight we are reading Homer's Iliad. It's been a while actually since the last time I read Homer. So let's resume it. O parent goddess, since in early bloom thy son must fall by too a severe doom, sure to shock of a race of glory born, great Jove injustice should this band adorn. And ill he pays the promise of God, if yon proud monarchs thus thy son devise, obscure by glories, and presumes my prize, far from the deep recesses of the main. where each ocean holds his watery reign. The goddess, motherhood, the wave divide, and like a mist she rose above the tide, beheld him mourning on the naked shore, and thus with the sorrows of his soul explores. Why grieve, my son? Thy anguish let me share. Reveal the cause, and trust a parent's care. He deeply sighing said, to tell my woe is but to mention what well to know. From Thebe, sacred to Apollo's name, Athens' realm, our conquering armies came, with treasure loaded and triumphant spoil, whose just division crown o'er the soldier's toil. But bright Chryseis' heavenly prize was led, by vote selected, to the general's bed. The priest of Phoebus sought by gift to gain his beauteous daughter from the victor's chain. The fleet he reached and loudly bending down, held forth the scepter and the laurel crown, entreating all, but chief implored for grace, the brother king of Atreus' royal race. The generous Greeks, the joint consent declare, the priest to reverence and will is fair. Not so Atrides. He, with wonted pride, the sire insulted, and his gift denied. The insulted sire, his god's peculiar care, to Phoebus prayed, and Phoebus heard the prayer. A dreadful plague ensues, the avenging darts incessant fly, and pierce the Grecian hearts. A prophet then, inspired by heaven's rose, and point the crime, and thence derives the woes. Myself the first, the assembled chiefs incline to over the vengeance of power divine. Then rising in his wrath, the monarch storm. Incensed, he threatened, and his threat performed. The fair Chryseis to her sire was sent, with offered gift, to make the god relent. But now he sees Briseis' heavenly charms, and of the foul prize defraud my arms. Defraud the thoughts of Grecian traits, and surface, faith and injustice played in vain. But goddess, thou thy suppliant sons attend, to high Olympus shining courts ascend. Urge all the ties to form service owed, and sued for vengeance to the thundering god. Oft hast thou triumphed in glorious boast, that thou stoodst forth of all Ethereal's host, when bold rebellion shook the realms above. The undaunted guard of the cloud compelling Jove, when the bright partner of his awful reign, the warlike mate and the monarch of the main, the traitor gods by mad ambition driven, trust threat with chain omnipotence of heaven, then called by thee the mounter Titan came, whom God Briareus Manager name. Through wandering skies the enormous stalk along, not he that shake the solid earth so strong, With the iron pride at Jove high throne he sat, and brandished round him all his 100 hands. The affrighted gods confessed their awful lord. They dropped the feather, trembled, and adored. This goddess, this to remembrance call, embrace his knees at his tribunal fall. Conjure him, far to drive the Grecian train, to hurl them headlong to their fleet and main, to heap the shore with copious death and bring the Greek to know the curse of such a king. Let Agamemnon lift his haughty head over all his wide dominion of the dead, and more in blood than ever he durst disgrace the boldest warrior of Grecian race. Unhappy son, fair Thetis thus replies, while tears celestial trickle from her eyes. Why have I borne thee with a mother's throes, to fates averse and nursed for future woes? Too short of a space the light of heaven to view, too short of space and filled with sorrow too. O mighty parents, careful wish prevail. Far, far from millions should thy vessels sail, and thou from camps remote and dangers shun, which now, alas, too early treat my son. Yet, what can I? To move thy suit I'll go, the great Olympus crown with fleecy snow. Meantime, secure within thy ship from afar, behold the field, not mingle in the war. The sire of God, and all the ethereal train, on the warm limits of a farthest main, no mix with mortals, nor disdain to grace the feast of Ethiopia's blameless race. 12 days the powers indulge the genial rite, returning with 12 revolving light. Then will I mount the brazen dome and move the high tribunal of immortal Jove. The goddess spoke, the rolling waves unclose, then down the steep she plunged, from whence she rose, and left him sorrowing in lonely coast, in wild resentment for a whereof he lost. In Chrysa's port now sage Ulysses rode, beneath the deck the destined victim stowed. The sail they furled, they lashed the mast aside, and dropped their anchors, and the pinnace tied. Next on the shore the Heracum they land. Chryseis, last descending on the strand, her, thus returning from a far-off man, Ulysses led the Phoebe's sacred fane. Whereas the solemn altar, as a maid, he gave to Chryseis, thus the hero said, Hail, reverend priest, to be Phoebe's awful dome, a suppliant I from great Atrides come, and ransom. Here I receive the spotless fare. Accept the Heracum, the Greeks prepare. And may thy God, who scatters darts around, atone by sacrifice, deceased to wound. At this, the sire embraced the maid's king, so sadly lost, so lately sought in vain, the near the altar of a darting king. Disposed in rank the hericum they bring, with water purify the hands and take the sacred offering of a salted cake. But thus, with arms devoutly raised in air, and solemn voice, the priest directs his prayer. God of a silver bow, thy ear incline, whose powers encircle seals and divine, whose sacred eye thy Tanetus survives, and gilt-fair Crisa with distinguished rays. If fire to vengeance at the priest's request, thy direful darts inflicts the raging pest. Once more attend, avert the wasteful woe, and smile propitious, and unbend thy bow. So Chryses prayed. Apollo heard his prayer, and now the Greeks the hericum prepare. Between the horn salted barley threw, and with the heads to heaven the victim slew. The limb they sever from enclosing height, the thigh selected to the gods divide. On these in double calls involved with art, the choicest morsels lay from every part. The priest himself before his altar stand, and burns the offering with holy hands. Pour the black wine and see flames aspire. The youth with instruments surrounds the fire. The thighs, the sacrifice and entrails raised. The assistants parts, transfix and roast the rest. Then spread the table, the repast prepare. Each takes his seat, and each receives his share. When now the rage of hunger was repressed, with pure libation they conclude the feast. The youth with wine copious goblet crowned, and please dispense the flowing bowls around. With hymns divine the joyous banquets end, the paeans lengthen till the suns descend. The Greeks resort, the grateful notes prolong. Apollo listens, and approved the song. 'Twas night, the chiefs beside the vessels lie, till rosy morn had purpled over the sky. Then launch, hoist the mast, indulgent gales, supplied by Phoebus fill the swelling sails. The milk-white canvas bellying as they blow, the parted ocean foams, and roars below. Above the bounding billows swift they flew, till now the Grecian camps appeared in view. Far on the beach they hauled it back to land, the crooked keels divide the yellow sand. Then par, where stretched along the winding bay, the ships and ten in mingled prospect lay. But raging still, amidst his navy sat, the stern Achilles that was in his late, nor mixed in combat, nor in councils joy, but wasting cares lay heavy on his mind, and his black thoughts revenge of slaughtered thrall, and a sand of blood raised to dreadful in his soul. 12 days were past, and now the dawning light, the goddess summoned to the Olympian height, Jove, for sending the warrior bower, leads the long orders of ethereal power. Then, when the morning mist in early day rose from a float of a daughter of the sea, and the sea divinified the dressed, there, far apart, and his eye above the rest. The thunderer sat, where in Olympus' shroud his 100 heads in heaven and props the cloud suppliant by the god stood, one hand, and she placed beneath his beard, beard, and one his knees embrace. If ever, O father of the gods, she said, my work please thee or my actions aid, some marks of honor in my son bestow, and pain glory what in life you owe. Fame is at least by heavenly promise due to life so short, and how dishonored too. Avenge this wrong, O ever just and wise. Let Greece be humbled, and the Trojans rise, till the proud king and all Achaean race shall heap with honor him in their now disgrace. We are currently at the page 24, still in a book 1. So the page 1 of Homer's Iliad. The book 1 is basically telling the story before the Trojan War, how the war breaks, and we are just stood there in the middle of it, in the beginning of it all. How they inflicted God over mortals' war. You can get to. May I resume? She said, and sighing, thus the god replies, who rolls of the thunder over a vaulted sky. What hast thou asked? Ah, why should Jove engage in foreign contests and domestic rage? The gods' complaints and Juno's fears alarm, while I, too partial, aid the Trojan arms. Go less the haughty partner of my sway, with jealous eye thy close access survey, but part in peace, secure thy prayer is bed, witness the sacred honors of our head. The note that ratifies the will divine, the faithful, fixed, irrevocable sign. This seal thy suit, and this fulfill thy vows, he spoke. And oval bends his sable brows, shake his ambrosial curls, and give the nod, the stamp of fate and sanction of the god. High heaven with trembling district the signal took, and all the Olympus to the center shook. Sweep to the seas, profound the goddess flies, Jove to his starry mansion of the sky. The shining synod of his mortal waits, the coming god, and from the thrones of state, arising silent, wrapped in holy fear, before the majesty of heaven appear. Trembling they stand, while Jove assumes the throne, all but the god's imperious queens alone. Like, like had she viewed the silver-footed dame, and all passion kindled into flame. Say artful manager of heaven, she cries, who now partakes in the secrets of the sky. Thy Juno knows the secret of fate. In the fate, in vain the partner of imperial state. What favorites goddess of those cares divide, with Jove and prudence from his consorts hides. To this thunderer, seek not thou to find the sacred counsel of Almighty Mind involved in darkness, like the great tree, nor can depth or fate be pierced by thee. What fits thy knowledge, thou the first shalt know, but the first of gods above and man below. But thou nor they shall search this thought that rolled deep in the close recesses of my soul. Check, check. Are we back actually? The stream just stopped for a minute. We are back. We are currently on book 1. To this, the Thunderer, seek not thou to find the sacred counsel of Almighty Mind, involved in darkness like the great decree, nor can the depth of faith be pierced by thee. What fits thy knowledge, though the first shalt known, the first of God above and man below. But thou, nor they, shall search the thought that roll deep in the closest recesses of my soul. Full on the sire goddess of the skies rolled the large orbs of her majestic eyes, and thus returned. Was there Saturnius said, from whence his wrath, or who controls thy sway? The boundless will for me remains in force, and all thy counsels, like the destined course. But this for Greece I fear, for late was seen, in close consult, the silver-footed queen. Jove to his Thetis nothing could deny, nor was a signal vain that shook the sky. What fatal favor has the goddess won, to grace her fierce inexorable son? Perhaps in Grecian blood to drenched in plain, and glut his vengeance with my people slain. Then thus the god, O restless fate of prides, that strive to learn what heaven's resolved to hide. Vain is the search, presumptuous and abhorred, anxious to thee and odious to thy lord. Let this suffice, the immutable decree, no force can shake what is that ought to be. Goddess, submit, not dare our will withstand, but dread the power of his avenging hand, the united strength of all the gods above. In vain resist the omnipotence Jove. The Thunderer spoke, nor durst the queen reply. A reverent horror silenced all the sky. The feast disturbed with sorrow, Vulcan saw his mother Manus, and the gods in awe. Peace at his heart, and pleasured his design. Thus interposed the archetype divine. The wretched quarrels of a mortal slate are for unworthy gods, of your debate. Let man their days in senseless strife employ, we in eternal peace and constant joy. Thou, goddess mother, with our sire comply. We in eternal peace, thou, goddess mother, with our sire comply. Nor break the sacred union of the sky, lest, roused to rage, he shake blast the boats, launch the red lightning and dethrones the gods. If you submit, the thunderer stands appeased, the gracious power is willing to be pleased. Thus Vulcan spoke, and rising with bound, the double bowl with sparkling nectar crown, which helped to Juno in a cheerful way. Goddess, he cried, be patient, obey. Dear as you are, if Jove his arm extend, but I can but grieve, unable to defend. What god so daring and array to move, or leave his hand against the forge of Jove? Once in their cause I felt this matchless might, hurled headlong down from ethereal height, tossed all day in rapid circles round, nor till the sun descended touched the ground. Breathless I fell, in giddy motions lost. The Thynthians raised me on the Lemnian coast. He said, to her hand the goblet to heave, which with a smile and wide-armed queen receive. Then to the rest he filled, and in his turn, each to his lips applied nectar's urn. Vulcan with awkward grace his office plies, and unextinguished laughter shakes the sky. Thus the blessed god the genial day prolonged. In his ambrosial and celestial song, Apollo turned the lyre. The muses round, with voice alternate, ate the silver sound. Meantime, the radiant sun, the moral side, descending swift, rolled down the radiant light. Then to the starry dome the god departed, the shining monument of Vulcan's art. Jove on his couch reclined his oval head, and Juno slumbered down the golden bed. We now come to Book 2. Argument, the trial of the army, and catalogue of the forces. Jupiter, in pursuance of requests of Thetis, sends a deceitful vision to Agamemnon, persuading him to lead the army to battle, in order to make the Greeks sensible of the want of Achilles. The general, who is deluded with hopes of taking Troy, without his assistance, but fears the army was discouraged by his absence, and late plague, as well by the length of time, contrives to make trial of their disposition by stratagem. He first communicates his design to the princes in council, that he would propose a return to the soldier and they should put a stop to them, if the proposal was embraced. Then he assembles the whole host, and upon moving for a return to Greece, they unanimously, by the management of Ulysses, who chastises the insolence of Thersites, The assembly is recalled, several speeches made on the occasion, and the length of his advice of Nestor follow. Which was to make a general muster of the troops, and to divide them into their several nations, before they proceeded to battle. This gave the occasion to the poet to enumerate all the forces of Greeks and Trojans, and in a large catalogue. The time employed in his book consists of not entirely of one day. The scene lies in Grecian camp, and upon the seashore towards the end it removes the Troy. Now pleasing sleep and sealed each mortal eye, stretch in the tents the Grecian leaders lie. The immortals slumbered on their thrones above, all but ever wakeful eye of Jove's. To honor Theseus' sons bend his care, and plunge the Greeks in all the woes of wars. Then beats an empty phantom rise to sight, and thus comments the vision of the night. Fly hence, deluding dreams, and light as air, to Agamemnon's ample tents repair. Bid him in arms, draw forth the embattled train. Let all his Grecian to the dusty plains, declare even now 'tis given him to destroy the lofty towers of wide extended Troy. For now no more gods with fate contend, at Juno's suit the heavenly factions end. Destruction hangs over yon devoted wall, and nodding lions Iliad waits impending fall. Swift as the word vain illusion fled, descend and hovers over Stride's head, clothed in figures of a Pelian sage, renowned for wisdom and revered for his age. Round his temple spread his golden wing, and thus flattering dreams deceived the king. Canst thou, with all the monarch's cares oppressed, O Theseus' son, canst thou indulge the rest? Ill fits a chief who mighty nation guides, directs and counsel, and in wars presides. To whom it safely a whole people owes, to waste long nights in indolence repose. Monarch awakes, till Jove commands I bear, though and thy glory claims his heavenly care. In just array draw forth the embattled train, lead all thy Grecian to the dusty plain. Even now, O king, 'tis given thee to destroy the lofty tower of wide extended Troy. For now no more of the gods with faded content at Juno's suit to heavenly factions end. Distraction hangs over yon devoted wall, and nodding Iliad waits impending fall. Awake, but waking this advice approve, and thus the vision that descends from Jove. The phantom sight, then vanish from his sight, resolves to air, and mixes with the night. 1,000 schemes the monarch minds employ, elates in though he sacks untaken Troy. Vain as he was, and to the future blind, nor saw what Jove and secret fate design, what mighty toils to either house remain, what scenes of grief and numbers of the slain. Eager he rises, and in fancy hears the voice celestial murmuring in his ear. First on his limb a slender vase he drew, around him next the regal mantle threw. The embroidered sandals on his feet were tied, the starry falchion glittered at his side. At last his arm the massy scepter loads, unstained, immortal, and the gift of gods. Now rosy mourns Susanne, the court of Jove, lifts up her lights and open days above. The king dispatched his heralds with commands to range the camps and summons all the bands. The gathering hosts and the monarch words obey. In his black ships, while to the fleet that strides ban his way. In his black ship, the Pelian prince he found. There calls a senate of appears around. The assembled place, the king of Van's breast, the councils laboring in his artful breast. Friends and confederates, with attentive ear, receive my word and credit what you hear. Late as I slumbered in the shades of night, a dream divine appeared before my sight, whose visionary form like Nestor came, the same habit, and in mine the same. The heavenly phantom hovered over my head. And thus thou sleep, O Atricius' son, he said. Ill fits a chief who mighty nation guides, directs in council, and in war presides, to whom it safely whole peoples owes, to waste long nights in indolent repose. Monarchs awake, this Jove commands I bear, though in thy glory claims his heavenly care. In just array draw forth the embattled train, and let the Grecian to the dusty plain. Even now, O king, 'tis given thee to destroy the lofty towers of a wide extended Troy. From now, no more gods with faded content, at Juno's suit the heavenly factions end. Destruction hangs over yon devoted walls, and nodding alien waits the impending fall. This, hear the observant, and the gods obey. The vision spoke, and passed in their way. Now, valiant chief, since heaven itself alarms, unite and rouse the sons of Greeks to arm. But first, with caution, try what yet they dare, worn with 9 years of unsuccessful war. To move the troops to measure black the main, be mine, and yours the province to detain. He spoke and sat when Nestor's risingly said, Nestor, who Pylos' sandy realms obeyed, princes of Greece, your faithful ears incline, nor doubt the vision of a power divine, sent by the great Jove to him who rules the host. Forbid it, heaven, this warning should be lost. Then let us haste, obey the gods' alarms, and join to rouse the sons of Greece to arm. Thus spoke the sage, the kings without delay, dissolve the council, and their chiefs obey. The separate rulers led the following host, poured forth by thousand dark and old coast, as from some rocky cleft shepherd sees, clustering in heaps on heaps the driving bees, rolling and blackening swarms succeeding swarms. With deeper murmurs and more hoarse alarms, dusky they spread, a close-embodied crowd, and over a veil descends the living cloud. So from Athenian ships and lengthened train spreads all the beach and wide overshare the plains. Along the region runs a deafening sound. Beneath their footstep groans a trembling crowd. Fame flies before the messenger of Jove, and shining soars and claps her wings above. 9 sacred heralds now, proclaiming loud, the monarch's will, suspend the listening crowd. Soon, as the throngs in order range appear, and fainter murmurs die upon the ear, the kings of kings his awful figures raised, high in his hand the golden scepter braced, the golden scepter of celestial flame, by Vulcan formed, from Jove Hermes came. To Pelops the immortal gift resigned, the immortal gift great Pelops left behind, in a treacherous hand, which not with the treacherous end, to reach Theseus next the prize descend, and now the mark of Agamemnon's reign subjects all Argos and the controls the main. On this bright scepter now the king reclined, and artful thus pronounced the speech design. Ye sons of March, partake your leader's care, heroes of Greece and brothers of the war. Of partial Jove with justice I complain, and heavenly oracles believed in vain. A safe return was promised to our toils, renowned, triumphant, and enriched with spoils. Now shameful flight alone can save the host, our blood, our treasure, and our glory lost. So Jove decrees, resistless, Lord of all, at whose command whole empires rise to fall. He shakes the feeble corpse of human trust, and towns and armies humbles to the dust. What shame to Greece a fruitful war to wage, oh lasting shame in every future age. Once great in arms, the common scorn we grow, repulsed and baffled by a feeble foe, so small their numbers, that if wars were ceased, and Greece triumphant held a general feast, all ranked by tens, whole decades, when they dine, must want a Trojan slave to pour the wine. But other forces have our hopes overthrown, and Troy prevails by armies not her own. Now 9 young years of mighty Jove's run, since first the labor of the fore begun, our cordage torn, decayed of our vessels lie, and scarce I ensure the wretched powers to fly. Haste, then forever leave the Trojan war, our weeping wife, our tender children call. Love, duty, safety, summon us away. 'Tis nature voice, and nature we obey. Our shattered bark may yet transport us over, safe and inglorious, to our native shore. Fly, Grecian, fly, your sails and oars employ, and dream no more of heaven defended Troy. His deep design unknown, the hosts approve. Atrides' speech The mighty numbers move, so rolls the billows to the Icarian shore. From east and south we wind, begins to roar. Burst the dark mansion in the clouds and sweep, and whitening the surface of ruffles deep. And as on corn when western guests descend, before the blast the lofty harvest band, thus over field the moving host appears, with nodding plumes and groves of waving spears, the gathering murmur spreads. The trampling feet beat the loose sands and thicken to the fleet. With long resounding cries they urge the train to fit the ships and launch into the main. They toil, they sweat, thick clouds of dust arise. The doubling clamors echoes to the sky. Even the Greeks had left the hostile plain, but their fate decreed the fall of Troy in vain. The Jove, imperial queen, the flight surveyed, and sighing thus bespoke the blue-eyed maid. Then shall then the Grecian fly or dire disgrace, and live unpunished in perfidious race? Shall Troy, shall Priam, an adulterous spouse, in peace to enjoy the fruits of broken vows? And bravest chief, in Helen's quarrel slain, lie and revenge on yon distended plain? No, let my Greeks, unmoved by vain alarms, once more refulgent shine in brazen arms. Haste, goddess, haste, the flying host detain, nor let one sail be hoisted on the main. Pallas obeys, and from Olympus' height, swift to the ship precipitates her flight. Ulysses, first in public cares he found, for prudent counsel like God's renown. Oppressed with the generous grief the hero stood, nor drew his sable vessels to the flood. And is thus divine Lytra's son. Thus fly the Greeks, the martial maid begun. Thus to the country bear their own disgrace. In fame eternal leave the Priam's race. Shall beauteous Helen still remain unfreed? Still and revenge 1,000 heroes plead. Haste, general Ithacus, prevent this shame. Recall your armies, and your chief reclaim. Your own resistless eloquence employ, and to the immortal trust the fall of Troy. The voice divine confessed the warlike maid. Ulysses heard, not uninspired debate. Then, kneeling, first a stride from his hand, received the imperial scepter from command. Thus grace, attention, and respect to gain, he runs, he flies through all the Grecian train. Each prince of name, of chiefs and arm proof, he fired with praise, or with persuasion moved. Warriors like you, with strength and wisdom blessed, by brave example should confirm the rest. The monarch will not yet reveal the peers. He tried our courage, but resent our fears. The unwary Greeks his fury may provoke, not thus the king in secret council spoke. Jove loves our chief, from Jove his honor springs. Beware, for dreadful is the wrath of kings. But if clamorous vile plebeian rose, him with reproof he checked or tamed with blows. Be still, thou slave, and to thy bearer yield, and now alike in council and in the field. Ye God, what dastard would our host command? swept to the war and lumber of the land. Be silent, wretch, and think not here aloud that wars of tyrants and usurping crowd. To one sole monarch Jove cometh this way. His are the laws, and let him all obey. With word like this, the troops Ulysses ruled, the loudest silence and the fiercest cooled. Back to the assembly roll in a thronging rain. The desert the ship and power up and pour upon upon desert the ship and pour upon the plain. Murmuring they move, as when old ocean roars, and heave huge surge to the trembling shores. The groaning banks are burst with bellowing sound, the rocks remurmur and the deeps rebound. At length the tumult sinks, the noises cease, and a still silence lulls the camp to peace. There sits only clamoured on the throng, loquacious, loud, and turbulent of tongue, awed by no shame, by no respect controlled, in scandal busy, in reproaches bold, with weedy malice studious to defame, scorn all his joy, and laughter all his aim. But chief he gloried with licentious style, to lash the great and monarchs to revile. His figure such as might his soul proclaim. One eye was blinking, and one leg was lame. His mountain shoulder, half his breast overspread. This hair bestrewed his long mishapen head. Spleen to mankind his envious heart possessed, and much he hated all, but most the best. Ulysses oraculous still this theme, but royal scandal his delight supreme. Long had he lived the scorn of every Greek, vexed when he spoke, yet still they heard him speak. Sharp was his voice, which in the shrillest tone, thus with injurious taunt attacked the throne. Amidst the glories of so brightened the reign, what moves the great Atrides to complain? 'Tis thine whatever warriors ablaze breast in flames, the golden spoil, and thine the lovely dames, with all the wealth our war and blood bestow. Thy tents are crowded, and the chest overflow. Thus, at full ease in heaps of riches rolled, what grief in the monarch? Is it thirst of gold? Say, shall we march with our unconquered power, the Greeks and I, to Iliad hostile tower, and bring the race of royal bastard here, for Troy to ransom at the price too dear? But safer the plunder thy own host supplies. Say, wouldst thou seize some valiant leader's prize, or if thy heart to generous love be led, some captive fair to bless thy kingly bed? Whatever thou master craves, submit we must, plagued over his pride or punish for his lust. O woman of Achaia, man no more, hence let us fly and let him waste his store in love and pleasures on Phrygian's shore. We may be wanted on some busy day, when Hector comes, so the great Achilles may. From him he forced the prize which only From him he forced the prize we jointly gave. From him the fierce, the fearless, and the brave. And durst he, as he ought, resent that wrong? This mighty tyrant were not tyrant long. Fierce from his seat at this Ulysses spring, in generous vengeance of the kings of kings. With indignation sparkling in his eyes, he fused the wretch and sternly thus replied: Peace, factious monster, borns to vex the state, with wrangling talents forms for foul debate. Curb that impetuous tongue, nor rashly feign, and singly mad as purse the sovereign reign. Have we not known thee, slave? Of all our host, the man who acts the least upbraid the most. Think not the Greek to shameful flight to bring, nor let thus profane the name of king. For our own return we trust the heavenly power, be that their care to flight the man be ours. But grant the host with wealth the general load, except detraction, what hast thou bestowed? Suppose some hero should his spoil resign. Art thou that hero, could thou spoil be thine? God, let me perish on this hateful shore, and let these eyes behold my son no more. If on thy neck's offence this hand forbear, to strip the rams thou all deserves to wear. Expel the council where our princes meet, and send this scourge and howling through the fleet. He said, and cowering as the dastard pen, the weighty scepter on his bank descend. On the round bunch the bloody tumorous rise, the tear springs starting from his haggard eyes, trembling his head, and shrunk his abject fears. From his veiled visage wiped his scalding tears, while to this neighbor each expressed his thoughts. Ye God, what wonder has Ulysses wrought? What fruit his conduct and his courage yield? Glad in council, glories in the field, generous he rises in the crown's defense, to curb the factious tongue of insolence. Such just example of offenders shown, sedation, silence, and assert the thrones. 'Twas just general voice of hero praise, who rising high the imperial scepter raised, the blue-eyed Pallas, his celestial friend, and from a herald bade the crowds attend. The expecting crowds in still attention hung, to hear the wisdom of his heavenly tongue. Then deeply thoughtful, pausing ere he spoke, his silence thus the prudent hero broke. Unhappy monarch, whom the Grecian race, with shame deserting, heap with vile disgrace. Not such at Argos would their generous vow. Once all their voice, but forgotten now, never to return when the common cry, till Troy's proud structure should in ashes lie. Behold them, weeping for a native shore. What could their wife or helpless children more? What heart but melts to leave the tender train, and 1 short month endure a wintry main? Few leagues remove, we wish our peaceful seat. Then the ship tosses and the tempest beat. Then well may this long stay provoke their tears, the tedious length of 9 revolving years. Not for the grief of the Grecian host I blame, but vanquished, baffled, or eternal shame. Expect the time to Troy's destruction given, and try faith of Calchas of a heaven. What passed at all is Greece can witness bear, and all who live breathe this Phrygian air. Besides our fountain's sacred brinks we raise, our virgin altars and the victim's place, to swear the plane trees spread shades around, the altars heaved, and from the crumbling ground a mighty dragon shoot of dire portent. From Jove himself the dreadful sign was sent. Straight to the tree his sanguine spires he rolled, and curled around in many a winding fold. A topmost branch a mother bird possessed, each callous infant filled the mossy nest. Herself the ninth, the serpent as he hung, stretched his back jaws and crushed the crying young, while hovering near with miserable moan, the drooling mother wailed her children gone. The mother last, as round the nest she flew, seized by the beating wings, and the monster slew. Nor long survived the marble turned his stand, a lastly prodigy of owl's sand. Such was the will of Jove, and hence we dare trust in his omen support the war. For while around we gaze with wondering eyes, and trembling sought the power with sacrifice. Full of his god, the reverend Calchas cried, "Ye Grecian warriors, lay your fears aside, this wondrous signal of Jove himself displays, of long labors, but eternal praise, as many birds as by the snakes were slain, so many years the toils of Greece remains. But wait the 10th, for Iliad's fall decreed, thus spoke the prophet, thus the fates succeed. Obey, ye Grecians, with submission wait, nor let you fly divert the Trojan fate," he said. The shore with loud applauses sound, the hollow ships, each deafening shout rebound. Then Nestor, thus, this vain debates forbear, yet talk like children, not like heroes dare. Were now all your high resolve at last, your leagues concluded, your engagement past? Vowed with libation and with victims then, now vanish like their smoke in faith of men. With useless word consume inactive hours, no wonder Troy so long resist our power. Rise, great Atrides, and with courage sway, we march to war, if thou direct the way. But leave the few that dare resist thy laws, the mean deserter of the Grecian cause. The grudge, the conquest, mighty Jove prepares, and view with envy our successful wares. On that great day when first martial trains, big with the fate of Iliad, plough the main, Jove on the right, a prosperous signal sent, and thunderous rolling shook firmament. Encourage hence, maintain the glorious strife, till every soldier grasp a Phrygian wife, till Helen's woes at full revenge appear, and Troy's proud matrons renders tears for tears. Before that day, if any Greek invite his country's troops to base inglorious flight,
stand forth that Greek, and hoist his sail to fly, and die the dastard fight who dreads to die. But now, O monarch, all thy chiefs advise, nor what they offer thou thyself despise. Among those counsel, let not mine be vain. In tribes and nations to divide thy train, his separate troops let every leader call, each strengthen each, and all encourage all. What chief or soldier of the numerous band of bravely fight, or ill obeys command, and thus this thing the war shall soon be known, and what the cause of Iliad not overthrown. If fate resist, if our arms are slow, if gods above prevent, or men below. To him the king, how much the years excel in arts of counsel and speaking well. Or would the gods in love to Greece decree, but then such sages as they grant in thee, such wisdom soon should Priam's forces destroy, and soon should fall the haughty towers of Troy. But Jove forbids, who plunges those he hates in fierce contention and in vain debates. Now great Achilles from our aids withdraws, by me provoke, a captive made the cause. If ever as friend we join, the Trojan walls must shake heavily, will the vengeance fall. But now, you warriors, take a short repast, and then well refreshed, to bloody conflict haste. His sharpened spear let every Grecian wield, and every Grecian fix his brazen shield. Let all excite the fiery steeds of war, and all for combat fit the rattling car. This day, this dreadful day, let each contend, nor rest, nor respite, till the shades descend, till darkness or till death shall cover all. Let the war bleed and let the mighty fall, till bathed in sweat be every manly breast, with the huge shield each brawny arms pressed. Each aching nerve refused the lance to throw, and each pent courser at the chariot blow. Who dares inglorious in his ships to say, who dares to tremble on his signal day? That wretch, too mean to fall by a martial power, the birds shall mangle, and the dogs devour. The monarch spoke, and straight the murmur rose. The murmur rose, loud as the surges when the tempest blows, that dashed on broken rocks tumultuous roar, and foam and thunder on the stony shore. Straight to the tents and troops dispersing bands, the fires are kindled, and the smokes ascend. With hasty feast, the sacrifice and pray, to avert the danger of a doubtful day. A steer of 5 years age, large, limbed, and fed, to Jove's high altars Agamemnon led. There bade the nobles of the Grecian peers, and Nestor first, as most advanced in years. Next came Idomeneus and Tydeus' son, Ajax the last, and Ajax Telamon. Then wise Ulysses and his ranks was placed, and Menelaus came and bid the last. The chiefs around the destined peace and take the sacred offering of a salted cake. When thus kings prefers his solemn prayer, O thou, which standeth rend the clouded air, who in heaven of heaven has fixed thy throne, supreme of gods, unbound and alone, here and before a burning sun descend, before the night her gloomy veil extend. Low in the dust be laid yon hostile spires, be Priam's place sunk in Grecian fires. In Hector's breast he be plunged his shining sword, and slaughtered heroes groan around their lord. Thus prayed the chief, his unavailing prayer great Jove refused, and tossed in empty air the gods' affairs, while yet the fumes arose, prepared new toils, and doubled woes on woes. The prayers perform and the chief rites pursue, the barley sprinkled, and the victim slew, to leave they sever from enclosing height the tides, selected to the gods divide. On these in double cause involved with art, the choicest morsel slice from every part, from the cleft of woods the crackling flames aspire, while the fat victims feed the sacred fire. The thigh the sacrifices and entrails dressed, the assistant's parts transfix and roast the rest, then spreads the table, the repast prepare. Each take his seat, and each receives his share. Soon as the rage hunger was suppressed, the generous Nestor thus Prince address, now bidly the heralds sound the loud alarms, and call the squadrons sheathed by the brazen arms. Now seize the occasion, now the troops surveys, and lead to wars when heaven directs the way. He said the monarch issued his comments, straight the loud heralds called the gathering bands. The chief enclosed the kings to the host divides. The tribes and nations ranked on the either sides. High in the mist, the blue-eyed virgin flies. From rank to ranks she darts her ardent eyes. The dreadful Aegis, Jove's immortal shields, blazed on her arms and lighted all the fields. Round the vast orbs 100 serpents rolled from the brightest fringe to seem to burn in gold. With these each Grecian manly breast she warms, swells their blood their bald hearts, and strings their nervous arms. No more they sigh, glorious to return, but breathe revenge, and for the combat burn. As some mountain through the lofty grove, the crackling flames ascend and blaze above. The fire is expanding as the winds arise, shoot their long beams and kindle half the skies. So from the polished arms and brazen shields, a gleamy splendor flashed along the fields, nor less their numbers and bodies, and than the embodied cranes, or milk-white swans in Asia's watery plains, that overwinding the Caira springs, stretch their long necks and clap their rustling wings. No towers aloft and course the airy rounds, no light with noise the field resounds. Thus numerous and confused, extending waves, the legion crowds, commanders of flowery side. With rushing troops the plains are covered over, and thundering footsteps shake the sounding shore. Along the river Level meet, they stand. Thick as the springs and flowers adorn the land, or leaf the trees, or thick as insects play. The wandering nation of a summer's day, that drowned by milky steams at evening hours. The gathered swarm surrounds the rural bowers. From pale to pale with busy murmurs run, the gilded legion glittering in the sun. So thronged, so close, the Grecian squadron stood, in Rhaegian arms and thirst for Trojan blood. Each leader now his scattered force can join, in close arrays and forms of deepening lines. Not with more ease the skilful shepherd swain collects his flock from thousand on the plain. The King of Kings, the majestically tall, tower over his armies and outshine them all, like some proud bull that round pastures leads. His subject herds, the monarchs of the Medes, grudge at the gods, the exalted chief was seen, his strength like Neptune, like Mars his mien. Jove over his eyes celestial glory spread, and dawning conquest play around his head. Says virgin seated round the throne divine, all-knowing goddess, immortal nine. Since earth-wide regions have an unmeasured height, and hell's abyss hide nothing from your sight, we wretched mortals, lost in doubt below, by guess, by rumors, and boast by we know, or say what heroes, fired by thirst of fame, or urged by wrongs to Troy destruction came, to count them all demands 1,000 tongues, a throat of brass and an adamantine tongues, and adamantine lungs. Daughter of Jove, arise, assist, inspired by you. We mighty labors count us, I pursue. What crowded armies from what climes they bring, their names, their numbers and chiefs I sing. The catalog of the ships. I don't know. The thing is, my voice is a bit. I don't know. Kind of daunting. I'm using the vocab from this book. I mean, it's a book, right? But it's not really a story. It's more like of a poem. Yeah, a poem by Homer. We are maybe 10%. Yeah, maybe 10%. So if I could spend 2 hours every night at the same hour. We could do it in like 10 days. We could finish Homer, Iliad in 10 days. In 10 instances. Instances. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. In 10 streams, basically. Because I just searching for some reason to read. Because honestly, I already passed this. I'm on book 8, I think. Yeah, I'm on Odyssey. But it's just I like to read Iliad and Odyssey orally because it rhymes so good. Even when my pronunciation is not that good, like I know it's not that good, but I really want to do it because I enjoy it the most. Like by this time, probably everyone already know the story, right? Yeah, the War of Troy, the Trojan Wars, kan gitu. Everybody basically already know about that story, like the premise at least. You know, the sad Trojan horse as a gift. Yada yada yada. Blah 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 blah. That's Iliad. Odyssey's after that. Maybe not as much people know about Odyssey's story, but I think mostly know. So yeah, maybe see you tomorrow at the same time. And we'll resume the reading of Homer's Iliad for now. The thing is, if I only use this, I could only yeah, it's not moving. It's only an image. But it looks so good on mobile actually. Maybe I could shoot some footage. Excuse me. Yeah, maybe I could use some footage and just loop it. Oh yeah, I could do that. I could definitely do that. probably like a 10-second loop. Or maybe a 1-minute loop. I hope you're enjoying the show, because I like late night reading. Like I read really late at night. Okay, let me bookmark this. No, I mean it. Like I have the physical book right here. You could. I could turn the page, like physically, but it's just the room acoustic is not as good right now. I really want to do ASMR though, like a sound like this. Things like that. I really want to do it. I do it. Like this. That gonna feel so good. I know it. Right? Rush to the bed, impatient for the joy. Himmel and no follow, slow with bashful charms, and clasp the blooming heroes in his arm. In her arms. Tapping it. Yeah, that's the thing. If I use a noise canceller. Yeah, if I use the noise canceller. What is it called? Noise reduction, noise suppression. It doesn't pick up the page turning as good. That's also why I switch to a digital version of it. Can I do this with my camera? I don't think it'll pick up though. That's the thing. I mean, somehow it could. Maybe I'll do it. Maybe I'll do it. Just because, right? So yeah, let me bookmark this. Now we are on the catalog of a ship.
Okay. The catalog of the ships. The hairy warrior whom boy she bred. Penelius Lucius Prothanor led. Yeah. I mean, it kind of sounds good with a page turning sounding. With these are Cecilius and Claudius stand, equal in arms and equal in command. This head the troops that rocky Aulis yields, the Aethians hills and Hyrius watery fields, the Sonis, the Scolos, grey and near the main, and Miscellaneous ample piney plain. Those who in Pythian or Lycian dwell, or Harma where Apollo's prophet fell, Helion and Hyle, which of the spring overflow, and Median lofty, and Ochilius low. Things like that. I like the sound of page turning, but I couldn't really show which one do I use? I use this one. Yeah, stream quality was a bit bad. The connection's kinda bad though. Get it. And Median lofty and Ochilius low, or in the maze of Haliartus stray, or Thespia sacred to the god of day. On Ceestus, Neptune's celebrated groves, Cope and Thisbe, fame for silver drove, for flocks Erythrae, Glysa for a vine, Plethia green and Nysa the divine, and they whom Thebes well-built walls enclose, and where mired Utrus crowned rose, and Arn rich with purple harvest crown, and Anthedon, Boeotia Atmos born. Full 50 ships they send, and each conveys twice 60 warriors through the foaming seas. It's gonna be like it's gonna be like ASMR-esque. Do these succeed as Playdon? Do these succeed as Playdon's martial train, who plough the spacious Orchomenian plain? To valiant brother rule the undebated throng, Yeoman and Ascalpus the strong, son of Astheos, the heavenly fair, whose virgin charm subdued the god of war. In Actor's court as she retired to rest, the strength of Mart the Mars, the blushing maid compressed. The troops in 30 sable vessels sweep, with equal oars the horse resounding deep. The Phocians next in 40 barks repair, Epistrophus and Cedius head the war. Where? From those rich regions where Cepheus lead his silver current through the flowery mead, from Panopia, Crisa the divine, where Anemoria's lately turrets shine, where Theto, Dotis, Pharisus stood, and fairly Lelea viewed the rising flood. These range in order on the floating tide. Close on the left, the bold Boeotian side, fierce Ajax led the Locrian squadrons on. Ajax the less, Oileus' valiant son, skilled to direct the flying dart right, swift in pursuit and active in flight. Him, as their chief, the chosen troops attend, which Bessa, Thronus, and rich Cyanus send, Opus, Caliarus, and Scarpus pens, and those two dwells where pleasing Augeas stands, and where Boargius floats the lowly lands, or in where Tarp's Sylvan seats reside, in for the vessel cut the yielding tide. Eubuea next her martial sons prepares, and sends the brave Abantes to the wars. Breathing revenge, in arms they take their way from Chalcis wars and strong Eretria. The Eastian fields for generous vines renown, the fair Carishes and Styrian ground, where Dios from her towers overlook the plain. And high Cerinthus views the neighbouring main. Down the broad shoulder falls the length of air. The hands dismiss not the long lands in air, but with pretended spears and fighting fields, fierce the though corslets and brazen shields. Twice 20 ships transports the warlike bands, which bold Elphenor first in arms commands. Full 50 more Athens stamps the main, led by Menistus through the liquid plain. Athens the fair, where Greats Erictus swayed, that owed his nurture to the blue-eyed maid. But from the teeming furrows took his birth, the mighty offsprings of the fruitful earth. Him Pallas place amidst her wealthy vein, adored with sacrifice and all oxen slain, whereas the years revolve her altar blaze, and all the tribes resounds the goddess' praise. No chief like thee, Menistus, Greece could yield to martial armies in the dusty fields, the extended wings of battle to display, or close the embodied host in firm array. Nestor alone, improved by length of days, for martial conduct bore unequal praise. With this appear Salaminian bands, whom the gigantic Telamon commands. In 12 black ships to Troy they steer the course, and with great Athenians join the force. Next move to war the generous aggrieved train, from high Terozine and Macetus plain, and fair Aegina circled by the main, whom strong Thrinth's lofty walls surround, and Epidaure with finely harvest crown.
and where fair Asinine and Hermione show their cliffs above and ample bay below. This by the brave Eurelius were led, great Sthenelius and greater Diomed. But chief Tydides bore the sovereign sway, in Phorclus' bark they plough the watery way. The proud Mysian arms her martial powers, Cleon Corinth with imperial towers, fair Erythrea, Ornia's fruitful plain, and Aegean, and Adrastus, ancient Rhine. And those who dwell along the shady shore, and where Pauline yields her fleecy store, and Halys and Hypersia lie, and Gnossia's spires salute the sky. Dread Agamemnon rules the numerous band, and 100 vassals in long order stand, and crowded nation wait his dread command. High on the deck the king of mans appears, and his refulgent arms in triumph swears, proud of his laws, unrivalled in his reign. In silent pomp he moves along the main, his brother follows, and to vengeance swarms, the hardly Spartan exercise in arms, Varus and Brescia's valiant troops, and those whom Lacedaemon's lofty hills enclose, or Mesa's towers or silver dove renounce, Amyclae's last Augea's happiest ground, and those whom Oetila's low walls contain, and Halos on the margin of the main. These over bending ocean Helen's coast, in 60 ships with Menelaus draws, eager and loud from man to man he flies, revenge and fury flaming in his eyes, while vainly fond in fancy oft he hears the fair swan grief, and sees her in falling tears. In 90 sail from Pylos' sandy coast, Nestor the sage conduct his chosen host from Iphigenia's ever fruitful land, and Epi high and little Ptilian stand, where a beauteous air in her structure show, and Therian walls Alphesus streams enclose, and Dorian fame for Tamriel's disgrace, superior ones of all the tuneful race, till, vain of mortals, empty praise he strove, to match the seed of cloud-compelling Jove, to daring bard, whose unsuccessful pride the immortal muses in their art divide, the avenging muses of the light of day deprive in his eyes, and snatch his voice away. No more his heavenly voice was heard to sing, his hand no more awaked the silver string. Where under high Selene crowned with wood, the shade of tomb of old Aptus stood, from ripe prestigious bordering town, and Phoenician filed and Orchomenian drowns, where the fat herds in plenteous pastures rove, and Stymphalus with her surrounding grove, Phrygia and her snowy cliff recline, and high Anisp took by wintry wine, and fair ever pleasing sight. In 60 sail the Arcadian bands unite, Bold Agapenor glorious at their head, Anxious son, the mighty squadron led, their ships supplied by Agamemnon's care, through roaring seas and the wandering warriors bear. The first to battle of appointed plain, but knew to all the dangers of the main. Those were fair Alice and Buprasium join, whom Hermin here and Myrcenus convine. And bounded there, where over a valley rose Olenian rock and Wallacian flows, beneath for chief a numerous army came, the strength and glory of a Paean name. In separate squadron this their train divide, each lead 10 vessels through yielding tide. One was Amphimachus and Thelpheus one, Eurystheus this and that Theseus' son. Diores sprung from a Mercius line, and great Polyxenus of force divine. But those who view fair Alice overseas, from the blessed island of the Euxinides, in 40 vessels under Meges move, begot by Peleus, the beloved Jove. To strong Lycium from his sire he fled, and thence to Troy his hardy warriors led. Ulysses followed through the warrior road, a chief in wisdom, equal to a god, with those whom Sapphilnius lining close, or till the fields along the coast opposed, or where fairy touches overlook the floods, where nigh Neritus shakes his waving woods, where Agilipa rug sights are seen, Crocelius rocky and Xanthanius green, Zacynthus green. This in 12 galleys with vermilion prores, beneath his conduct south the Phrygian shores. Though as came next Andraemon's valiant son, from Pleuron's walls and chalky Calydon, and though Pylin and Olenian steep, and Chalcis beaten by the rolling deep, he led the warriors from Aetolian shore. From now the son of Oeneus were no more, the glories of the might race were fled. Oeneus himself, the Meleager's dead, though Thoas care now trusts the martial train, his 40 vessels follow through the main. Next, 80 barks the Cretan kings commands, of Noctus, Knossos, Lictus, in Nortius span, and those who dwell where Rhethean's domes arise, or white Lysasus glitters to the skies, or where by Festus silver Jordan runs, Crete's 100 cities pour forth all her sons. This march, Idomeneus, beneath thy care, and Merian dread for us the god of war. Tlepolemus, the son of Hercules, led 9 swift vessels through the foamy seas, from roads with everlasting sunshines bright. Jalysus, Lindus, and Cameris white, his captive mother fierce all sides bore, from Ever's wall and Sel's winding shore, where mighty towns and ruins spread the plain, and sore blooming warriors early slain. The hero, when to manly years he grew, Alcides' uncle, old Licinius slew, for he is constrained to quit his native place, and shunned the vengeance of Herculean race. A fleet he built, and with numerous train of wheeling exiles wandered over a main, where many seas and many suffering passed. On happy roads the chief arrived at last. Therein the three types divide his native band, and ruled them peaceful in a foreign land. Increased and prospered in the new abodes by mighty Jove, the sire of man and gods. With joy they saw the growing empires rise, and showed the wealth of descending from the skies. Three ships with Nereus saw the Trojan shore. Nereus, whom Aglae to chap Ropus bore. Nereus in faultless shape and blooming grace, the loveliest youth of Grecian race. Pelides only matched his early charms, but few his troops, and small his strength in arms. Next 30 galleys cleaved the liquid plain of those Calydnes sea-girt isle contain. With them the youth of Nisyrus repair, Casus the strong, and Crapathus the fair, coast where Eurypylus possessed the sway, till great Alcides made the realms obey. This Antiphus and both Pheidippus bring, sprung from the god by Thessalus the king. Now muse recount Pasalgic Argus' power, from Alos, Alope, and Thracian's towers, from Phthia's spacious valleys and Hellas blessed, with female beauty far beyond the rest. For 50 ships beneath Achilles' care, the Achaeans, Myrmidons, Hellenians bears, Thessalians all, though various in the names, the nations, and their chiefs the same. But now, inglorious, stretched along the shore, they hear a brazen voice of war no more. No more of the foe the face in dire array, close in his feet angry leader lay. Since fair Briseis from his arms was torn, the noblest spoil from sacked Lyrnessus borne. Then, when the chief the Theban walls overthrew, and the bold sons of great Avenus slew, the Mons Achilles plunged in the depth of care, but soon rise and slaughtered both of ware. To this the use of Physalis succeed, Ithona, famous for a feastly breed, and grassy Ptilian decked with cheerful greens, and the bowers of Sarus, and Sylvian scenes, sweet Pyrrhasus, with blooming flowerets crown, and Anthron's watery dance and cavern ground. This own and as chief Protesilas the brave, with who lay silent in a gloomy grave. The first who boldly touched the Trojan shore, and dyed the Phrygian lands with Grecian gore. There lies, far distant from his native plain, unfinished, his proud palaces remain, and his sad consort beats her breast in vain. His troop in forest ship Podarces led, Iphiclus' son and brothers to the dead, nor he unworthy command the host. It's 3 o'clock, yet they still mourn their ancient leader lost, the man who Glaphyra fates, fair soil partake, where hills encircle Bebe's lowly lake, where fair hears the neighboring waterfalls, a proud Iolcus lift her airy wall, in 10 black ship embark for alien shore, with bold Eumelus whom Alceste bore. All Peleus' race Alceste far outshine the grace and glory of beauteous kind. The troops Method or Thaumaeus yield, Olison's rock or Meliboeus field, the Philosthetes sailed, whose matchless art from the tough bow direct the feathers dart. Yeah, I kinda hate this, but you get too many names that I can just say. The bold Armenian and Assyrians ban in 40 barks Euplius commands, where Titan hide his hoary head in snow, and where Hyperius silver fountains flow. In troops Arguses, Polypoetus leads, and aliens sheltered by Olympus shades, Gerton's warriors, and where Ortus lies, and Oloson's chalky cliffs rise, sprung from Pirithous and immortal's race, the fruit of fair Hippodamus' embrace, that day when hurled from Pelion's cloudy head to distant dance, the shaky centaurs fled. With Polypoetus join in equal sway. Blah 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 blah. That's basically it. Let's just start from book 3 then, right? Yeah. Tomorrow we will start from book 3. Okay? Tomorrow we will start from book 3. I'll make the layout for sure. So for now, I'm gonna leave you right here. Tomorrow we'll come back again at the same time. Excuse me. At the same time. Reading from book 3. So I'm gonna leave you to it now. Good reading for today, for tonight. I'll see you tomorrow. Good night. I hope you're having a good night.
if you have a nice dream. Not the dream of war, actually, because we are reading Homer, right? It's always a poem about war. So, I'ma leave you to it now. Ciao. See you tomorrow. Ciao tutti. Good night.